What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here with some more transfer updates for you guys. And another quiet day at Tottenham Hotspur. Nothing much seems to be going down. It's like Spurs fans' emotions are like yo-yos at the moment. Like, bloody hell, that week when we got the Kudus and the Morgan Gibbs-White, here we go on cloud 9. Gibbs-White falls down and, no signing in sight. We're like, we need attacking players. We need attacking players. And just nothing seemed to be happening. And then last night, straight out the blue, we got a bomber from Fabrizio Romano and Matti Moretto saying that Tottenham are in club-to-club talks with Manchester City regarding winger Savinho. And it's always at this moment in time, since Johan Lang has come, it's just like something out of the blue, isn't it? Like just no one is talking about.
Working in the darkness, working in the shadows, under her cloak and dagger. That's how Lange likes to work. And this deal is really a quite incredible deal if we could put off. We'll go into more detail a bit later, but it really has come out of nowhere. This deal, for a player who I think is top quality, is something that has completely taken everyone, I think, by surprise. There were some rumours and murmurings about this deal last week, but I didn't, for one, believe a word of it. I thought there's no chance that something like this would happen. So it's classic Tottenham. When you're a Tottenham fan, you have to learn that it's only once you've given up all hope that things start happening. Exactly. So once we start thinking about, okay, actually this window's terrible, and everyone's saying, oh, this season we're going to be bottom half again and we're not ready for the season and all this stuff. As soon as you give up hope, then all of a sudden we get a bit of a surprise like this. That's always how it works.
Well, have you given up hope on Eze?
Have I given up hope on Eze? Yeah, I've given up hope, yeah. He's not coming.
That's what I like to hear, man. Everyone just give up all hope on Eberechi Eze.
Give up hope.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the deal, what all the journalists are saying. So first of all, David Ornstein said this morning that Tottenham are in talks with Man City to sign Savinho. Man City not actively wanting to sell. 50 million deal being discussed at this moment in time. 21-year-old open to Tottenham move. Pep Guardiola tends not to block when a player wants out. Fabrizio Romano says the more on the Savinho deal and the Tottenham exclusive story. First proposal has already been sent by Spurs worth 50 million euros, and Man City want more. Negotiations are ongoing with City, open to selling as Savinho is keen on the move, but only at their conditions. Deal absolutely on. Thomas Frank is really pushing for Tottenham to sign Savinho. Something in the region of 70 million euros could be enough to sign Savinho. Tottenham are on it, and he has a feeling that this deal could happen. Savinho wants to play every single game and feel like a very important player. Personal terms will not be a problem with Tottenham. Matti Moretto says that Tottenham have already presented a first official proposal for Savinho to Man City, from Man City. The figure is around 50 million euros. City are asking for more. Negotiations continue. Tom Allnut says that Spurs have held talks over a deal for Savinho. They also want to sign a creative midfielder by the end of the transfer window. The Telegraph says that Man City have given Tottenham some encouragement that the deal for Savinho can be done. And Brazilian publication Globo says that Savinho has given the green light to Tottenham and is now waiting for clubs to find an agreement. The conversations began last week, and the projection between the parties is that this won't become a soap opera. So they don't want this deal to rumble on. This deal could dominoes could fall quite quickly. We're hoping anyway. 70 million. First of all, do you think Spurs will go that far?
I think I don't think as a base fee, but when you include add-ons and all that kind of stuff, I can see a deal reaching 70 million euros is what, 65 million pounds. I think at the end of the day, when you've got a brilliant talent and someone who, for me, who's been in the Premier League already for a year, I think he's shown what he can do in the Premier League, maybe not to the fullest extent, but I think last season, I thought he was a success by and large. Yes, he didn't score maybe as many goals as you'd like, and he's still young. He's still 20 years of age, but he didn't look like he was out of his depth in the Premier League. He was impacting games, even games where he wasn't scoring goals. He was making life so difficult for the opposition defenders and always giving them trouble, always being a nuisance and causing a nuisance of himself. So for me, yes, I think 65 million, if you're looking at his current market value, is that a bit of an overpayment potentially? But I think sometimes when there's an opportunity here, I believe the reports that are saying that I think City are not desperate to sell him, but I think where City are coming from is Rodrigo's there, He wants to leave Real Madrid. He's obviously been at the top level for a bit longer. He's more ready-made. He's probably more ready to come in and slot in straight away and start getting goals and assists more regularly than Savinho. They're not too dissimilar in age. I think Rodrigo's 24, Savinho's 21, so he's a bit older. So they're looking at the situation. They've got Oscar Bob, they've got Doku, two up-and-coming wingers in their team, in their squad. So they're thinking, if we can get a good fee, if someone's willing to pay a bit over market value for Savinho, we spend that money and get Rodrigo, we're better off for it. We've still got two up-and-coming wingers anyway. And Savinho gets more regular game time ahead of the World Cup, which is what he's looking for. So I think everyone kind of wins. The only thing I would say is I'm just very surprised that if I was City, I would be more like, you're not having Savinho, we're keeping him, and we're getting Rodrigo on top of that. That's the kind of mentality I thought they would have. But clearly, they're willing to compromise on this situation. I'm just surprised because I thought he looked electric last season. I thought he was fantastic. So I'm shocked that they're willing to let him go. I think it would be a phenomenal bit of business for Tottenham. Yes, we're overpaying, but sometimes when there's an opportunity, when you can get someone like Savinho through the door, I think you just got to do it. I think, and I think 65 million is not a ridiculous fee. No, I really don't.
I think it's decent when you're looking at the players that we spent that kind of money on already, in Richarlison and Dom Solanke and Mohamed Kudus there as well, a bit less. I think, and Brennan Johnson, 50 million. I think Savinho at 65 million looks like a good price, to be honest. I'm a massive fan of him. I was a massive fan of him all season. When I saw him play on the right-hand side for Man City, I was thinking, like, yeah, this guy needs a bit of work still. But with the attributes that he had, it looked like he could be like the heir to the Mahrez throne, and he does have a few similar attributes to what Mahrez was showing. And I think with Savinho, if we can bring him in, he's a player that can play left, he can play right, he can even play through the middle. We've got such versatile options in the forward line. If we can add him with like him and Kudus on the flanks for us, on the wings, that is a scary proposition. Mm-hmm. We're all talking about how we look so numb up front, and you know, it's a mid-table attack and everything like that. Well, Savinho massively improves that, in my opinion. And I think when you've got him, if you were to play him on the left and Kudus on the right, I mean, you've got two proper one-on-one demons, one-on-one dribblers that can just take it past a man with ease. Something that we haven't had at this club probably ever, when you're looking at both sides, you know, where you can attack from both sides. So I think Savinho, in terms of what is his best position at this moment in time, you saw last season he played predominantly on the right for Man City. He did play fill in a couple of times on the left as well. And actually his best numbers in terms of goal contributions come off the left. The season before, when he was at Girona, what kind of swayed Man City to sign him, he only played on the left, and he terrorized La Liga that season. He was, in that season for Girona, he was literally, the stats say he was literally one of the best wingers in Europe at that moment in time. You know, I think he got like double figures in goals and assists. I think about over 20 goal contributions that season, and that is what made Man City buy him. Yes, he didn't kind of take those numbers into the Premier League, but he definitely showed that he can terrorize Premier League defenses, like not at the same level he terrorized La Liga defenses, but he was a work in progress for Man City. And how many times have you seen a top winger go to Man City and just not get those goal contributions in the first year, and then ultimately they turn into a top winger in the Premier League? You're looking at a lot of Man City wingers, they don't get high goal contributions because of the way Pep plays them. They're mainly just creators, and he did get like 10 assists last season. So I think Savinho would be an absolute top quality signing for Tottenham Hotspur, and I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, in terms of his best position, I think right now, in a weird way, it probably is off the left, just because I think the way he plays, he's an excellent dribbler, and he's a phenomenal a one-on-one kind of taking players on, taking on defenders. But I feel like when he's off the right, he opens up the game so much that he has like multiple different options. When he gets into the final third, he can cut inside, he can go down the line, he can put a cross in, all these different things, use his right foot, use his left foot. He's very left-footed, and because he's quite young, bit inexperienced, quite raw still, I feel like when he's off the right, he complicates things too much. Sometimes he doesn't pick the right decision, or he overcomplicates what he wants to do because he gives himself so many options. But I feel like when he's off the left, he keeps things very simple. Just goes down the line, beats his man, whips in across with his left foot, and it's very simple. There's kind of only one option. You know, you either you cut off the left, either you strike it across the face of goal, or you put in a cross. So I think it's very simple for him when he's off the left, and because he's very strong, fast. He's electric. He's very difficult to handle. I do think his future is going to be off the right. I think that is where his future belongs, because I think he's got much more variety in that position. I was watching a video of Pep, and he was saying once he gets that killer instinct in the final third, goal scoring and stuff, he's going to be an exceptional player, and that's kind of how I feel about him. I feel right now he's got incredible talent, and I still think he provides right now, and that's why his assist numbers are strong, but he needs to work on that ability in front of goal, his finishing, that kind of stuff. Once he does do that, he's going to fly. But I think if you ask Savinho, I reckon he would say I think he would probably rather play off the right. But I think right now he's probably a bit more effective off the left currently. I don't think that's going to be his position long term, though. It's a bit like how Bale started his career as a left winger, and then he moulded himself into a right winger. That's kind of how I see Savinho. Bale was very similar, because I feel like when you're a left footer on the left in this modern game, you're just you can do it, but at some point, if you become too effective, you're just going to be too easy to mark out the game, because you just block that run down the line, and all of a sudden you're stopping him. I think
really do that to Bale.
Yeah, well, that's why he moved off the left to the right.
Yeah, because he was being like double and triple.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And that's how it ends usually with players like that in that position, unless you kind of create a system where you get them isolated all the time, which is difficult to do. I think eventually teams will get wise to it. Whereas if you're playing off the right, it becomes much harder, much more unpredictable.
I guess the beauty of it is that you don't have to pigeonhole him into one position, because he's so versatile. I even think he can play through the middle for us and do such a really good job. So, look, I think at the start of next season, I do think we'll see him predominantly off the left. And I think that's where the hole is in the squad for him right at this moment in time. Assuming that we do get a number 10. If we don't get a number 10, then there is the option to play him off the right and play Kudus through the middle, or vice versa. Which way do you think it will go?
Yeah, I think the idea is to play him off the right, and I think the idea is to play him off the right and have Kudus play a bit more time in the 10 and sign another 10 on top of that, because the original plan was obviously have Maddison and Gibbs-White. That's obviously completely fallen flat on its face, with Gibbs-White falling through and Maddison getting an ACL. So I think we're going to have to be creative. I think the idea is to have two attacking midfielders in that position. So I think we've looked at this opportunity with Savinho wanting more game time and an opportunity to get him in. And I think we're thinking, all right, if we can get him and play him on the right, you can have Kudus in the 10, you can then maybe sign another number 10, and then you get that dynamic we would have had with maybe Maddison and Gibbs-White instead. And I think Kudus in the 10 is fairly similar to what a Gibbs-White maybe could have provided in that position. As in more similar to Gibbs-White than it would have been to Maddison, but it still means we need that kind of passing midfielder in the team. So I think that's a necessity. But I think that's the idea, because I still think you got Odegaard and you got Tell off the left. Look, I know fans won't want to hear it and won't like that they're the options, but they are the options. And it obviously gives you the option of going Kudus right as well, Savinho left, and the new number 10 in the 10 as well. That's also an option.
For me, what I predominantly want to see is a new 10 to come in. And for our first choice, starting kind of front three, I mean behind the attacking midfielder, left wing and right wing, is Kudus on the right, Savinho on the left, the new number 10 in the middle. When you can't play that number 10 every single game, so when he can't play, move Kudus into the middle, put Savinho on the right, and then put Odegaard on the left. Mm-hmm. That's what I would like to see. Yeah,
or you got Tell there as well. You got different options, and I think it gives you so much more flexibility as well. Getting Savinho in there.
I do think that if we do bring in this number 10 along with Savinho, if Richarlison does leave, I don't think we'll sign another number 9. I think Tell will be used as that backup striker.
Yeah, which I don't think.
It's not great.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the best course of action. I think I would want Tell off the left for me personally, but. Yeah, maybe. I mean, he has been playing Tell in striker, but I do think he's only been playing him there because Solanke's been injured. I don't know if Solanke was fit, would we have seen Tell at all up front in this pre-season? I'm not convinced. But that is where we've been seeing him. He hasn't really done well in that position. I think.
But what I'm saying is if Richarlison leaves.
Yeah, I understand.
But if Richarlison leaves, then we only have Solanke, and he can't play every minute of every game, can he?
Correct.
So someone's going to have to play there, and
Correct.
he's the only one.
Yeah, which which I'd rather keep Richarlison in that aspect, but that's by the by.
If you keep Richarlison, he's probably Teller's the number 2 because Richarlison's always injured.
Yeah, that might be true. Hopefully we can, keep him fit. That's a conversation for a different time. But in terms of Savinho, there's obviously another element to this deal. We're spending big money on a guy, for me, I think his future at right wing. Do we need more of a predominantly left winger as well? Does he see? Is he coming to Tottenham as a stepping stone? Is he coming to Tottenham because he really wants to play for us, or because he wants those minutes ahead of the World Cup? And as soon as a bigger club flutters their eyelids at him,
he's at a big club.
I know, understand that, but he's moving for the game time, and I understand that. But if a big club, I don't know, Madrid or whatever, come in for him, is he going to be flying? Is he going to be looking to leave soon? That's obviously a bit of a concern.
Yeah, but come on, you can say that about any player in our squad. Like, if Real Madrid seriously push for any of our players, you're telling me none of our players, all our players will probably want to go. So you're talking about the food chain here. And Real Madrid and a big club are always going to be higher than us.
But is he seeing us as a stepping stone, I guess, is the question. Is he here because he wants to play for us? I don't know. There's something strange about this deal.
What I think has happened here, I think he was the main man at Girona, right? Unbelievably key player for them, playing week in, week out. He's gone to Manchester City, and he's played a key part in their season, but they're still signing players in that. They've got Oscar Bob coming back. They've got such kind of fierce competition for places over there. He knows that he's not going to be playing as much as he did at Girona, and he wants to be the main man somewhere. So I feel like he wants to join somewhere where he's going to play and be considered as one of the main players, and not basically be part of a Pep roulette, see less minutes because of it. So
yeah.
I think coming to Tottenham, he knows he's going to see a lot more minutes. It's a team in the Champions League. It's a team that's hoping to fight for top 5, top 6, whatever it may be. That's the ambitions for this season. So he sees a hole in the squad, and he sees himself, compared to the other wingers that we have, probably one of the best, if not the best winger.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just posing the question. I don't think I necessarily believe it. I'm just posing the question about where does he see Tottenham in his career? Is it somewhere where he sees himself for 5 years, or, does he just want to be here right now because he wants a bit more game time, and then he's off to search for another move to a big club? I hope it's the former. Another question, I guess, that this brings is, obviously he's 21. He has had a year in the Premier League, but are we again spending big money on potential? Is he a ready-made star? Is this in the same vein of some of the other signings we've made, which we've complained about, where we've said we need ready-made, we don't need more potential, we need someone who's going to come in, be here, do it right now? Does Savinho represent that, or does he represent another guy who's just potential?
For me, he is potential. He's massive potential. But I think he can come in and do it right here, right now. I think he showed that at Manchester City last season. He showed it even more at Girona the season before, when Girona had that unbelievable season. He was probably the best player for them. So I think he's a player that has got a massively high ceiling, can definitely be a lot better than he is. But he can come in, and he already is one of the best wingers that we have at the football club. Him and Kudus, I think, are miles apart from all the other wingers we have in the squad.
Yeah, and I would argue, if people are arguing, this is more potential and stuff like that, I think what the seasons in Girona and even last season what he's had is much better than what Odegaard has done in his career, and probably more better than what Tell as well has done, who's only really had a bit part role.
Miles better than what Tell's done.
So I would say, yes, it is. I wouldn't say it's guaranteed, like we're signing someone who's like guaranteed to hit the ground running in terms of showing his best, or get goals and assists straight away. But I would say, in terms of a player who's a sure thing, we know he can do it in the Premier League. We saw that last season. Yes, it maybe he's got more levels to go, but I think he showed he's definitely capable of playing at this level in the Premier League and Champions League as well. And La Liga, he showed at 19. He can be a star at that level as well. So for me, he's already shown he's very more than ready to step in right now and provide what we need him to.
Yeah, there's two different kind of players that you can sign at that age, like in terms of potential. There's one experienced young player, and there's one just a young player that don't have much experience, right? Where both have potential, but one has shown a lot more than the other. And I think Savinho is definitely falls into the category of one of those experienced potential players. And those are the players that we like having at this club, like in terms of that can come in and make a difference right here, right now. And he's definitely a starting player for us. There's no doubt about it.
100%.
Like when we signed Tell and Odebear, yeah, they've got high ceilings as well, and they've got a lot of potential. But signing them, you can't say before we sign them or their first week at the club that they're definitely going to be starting for us week in, week out. This guy, it will be.
Yeah, I think so. I think Savinho has got star quality. He really does. I'm just shocked. I'm shocked they're willing to let him go. I'm shocked we're able to get him. I'm shocked he wants to come to us. Everything about this deal shocks me. So it's something just seems strange. It just seems strange that out of the blue, I can understand the logic of it. He's a bit part player. He wants to be a main man and he wants to come to Tottenham. But I also just feel like, what is City doing? Like, why are they willing to let him go? I understand, maybe he's pushing for it. I'm trying to work out, is he pushing for it because he wants the minutes, or is City pushing for it because they want to sign Rodrigo? What's the bigger force here?
I think it's a bit of both. I
understand it's a bit of both, but what's like the catalyst?
I think Savinho, first and foremost, wants to be a main man somewhere and wants to get that feeling back that he had at Girona, where he was the main man. And because of that, Man City never hold any. If any player shows any inkling of them wanting to leave, then Pep's like, all right, fine, just go. Like, we'll get someone else. It's not a problem. And they know Rodrigo's on the market as well. Mm-hmm. So I think it's like a pretty easy sell for them. Rodrigo, one of the best wingers in European football at this moment in time. And if you can sell Savinho and a McAtee and get that money in, and for that money sign a Rodrigo, I think it just suits all parties.
Or Xavi, talking about Xavi Simons as well.
Whoever it is, Xavi Simons and Rodrigo, if you can get one of them in for the money that you're selling these two players in, I think it makes sense for City, it makes sense for Tottenham, it makes sense for all players as well.
Yeah, and it's incredible how the stars have aligned, and it's allowing us to get someone like Savinho in, which would have been a dream before the end of at the beginning of the window to think about getting someone like him in. I would never in my wildest dreams would have thought that was possible, and I never would have thought that City would be willing to let him go. I would have thought City saw the potential last season and were really excited about him. But sometimes football's all about timing, and timing sometimes the stars can just align in that way.
Sometimes football's just about finding that right opportunity at the right time. And is there a more opportunistic club than Tottenham Hotspur in the transfer window?
And Frank did say, was it last week, we're looking for opportunities, if to get another winger in. After, I think, Ali Gold was reporting initially that we weren't going to look to get another winger in. Frank did say, I think it was in the after the Bayern game, he was asked about it, and he said, "Yeah, we're looking for opportunities." And here it definitely is one. Maybe he knew. Maybe he knew at that point.
We also heard last week the club tried to pull the walls over our eyes because they said, "Oh, Frank's been so impressed with Odebear, we ain't going to be going for a Son replacement or a left winger."
That's what I'm saying. That's what Ali Gold was reporting. But then Frank said himself, we're looking for opportunities. So. Looks like we definitely are, and what an opportunity this is. And as I say, I think I wouldn't say like in terms of priorities, like winger wise and stuff, and signing a right winger right now, is that the top priority? No, but I would say
but I think he's going to be our left winger next season.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But either way, even if he is, I think he's too good of an opportunity to miss out on. I think he's just such an upgrade on our winger options. He's such a phenomenal talent. He's so exciting. He's going to get everyone so excited. I thought we had the best dribbler in Kudus, but we might have just topped it here with Savinho. We're looking at his numbers as well and how amazing he is at dribbling. So we've got potentially two of the best dribblers in the league now, if we can get him in. The one worry I have about this deal is I don't doubt that City are open to selling him, and I don't doubt that we're interested in him. But knowing Tottenham, are we going into this deal right saying, okay, we're only going to do it if it's like 50 million, and then City are like entering it like, look, are you serious about him? Yeah, look, 70 million, you can have him, and we're still haggling over a few million, and then it breaks down because City find out we're actually not as serious as we were saying. Well, kind of thing. That's kind of, I'm a bit worried about that.
The thing that makes me more confident on that aspect is, first of all, that we've put a 50 million proposal in, it's been rejected, and we're still on the negotiation table. So that's positive. And on top of that, we're hearing from Fabrizio Romano, we're hearing from other journalists as well that Man City are already sounding out replacements for him, and they're very much on the negotiation table for Rodrigo already. So from that aspect, from all the aspects involved, it seems as though this deal is going to happen.
Yeah, that's when you really know, when teams start looking at alternatives and you hear those rumours, then you really know there's a lot of movement there. I think everything at the moment seems to be pointing in a really positive direction, which is, again, so surprising and astonishing how this is all
we've been
kind
here before.
We definitely have, but it's just incredible how this is all kind of fallen into place, and we could be seeing it, hopefully, with Savinho as a Tottenham player, which I just never in my wildest dreams would have imagined. Let's hope we get this deal done. I think it's a phenomenal piece of business if we can get it done. I think he's a great player, and I think he can be, hopefully, if he wants to, if we can match his ambitions, all that kind of stuff, he can be here for a long time and be a very good player for us for a long time.
Absolutely. And I just think the thought of having Savinho and Kudus on both wings is a scary thought for me, and I think it'll be such an unbelievable wing pairing to have. But back on the news about when Tom Allnutt says that they also want to sign a creative midfielder before the end of the window, Fabrizio Romano said that Eze has always been on Tottenham list, and he still remains of big interest to Tottenham Hotspur. We know that Arsenal have obviously been very interested in him. He's been wanting to go to Arsenal this summer, but nothing seems to be happening on that front. Mm-hmm. With Tom Allnutt saying that Spurs are still looking to buy a central midfielder, can you see a world where we spend 70 million euros on Savinho and then spend another 65 million plus on an Eberechi Eze before the end of the window?
I mean, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to, in terms of just purely numbers-wise. We've sold Son, so we've got a massive kind of gap in the wage bill now. Who's so our highest earner now is Kuti at 170, and then under him, what's Paulinho on?
About 160 or something.
160, but he's only on loan at the moment. We've got 4 players on over 100 grand a week.
Yeah,
we can afford to pay players big wages if we want to, at least another 2. Probably should be able to pay more, but if let's say you wanted to sign another 2 players and give them 150 grand each week each or whatever, or even as a 200, we should be able to do that no problem with our budget, I would say, judging by what I'm looking at. Well, obviously already we know 60 million for Gibbs White is not being spent, so that 60 million could easily be spent on Savio, and then you're looking at the budget on top of that. Hopefully, if we are budgeting some sales through the door, there should be no problem spending another 60 million on Eze. I don't see why that should be an issue. Now, the worry for me, it shouldn't really be financial. It should be if you can convince Eze to come and you can agree a deal and you can beat Arsenal to him. That is obviously where I'm doubtful. But whether we're capable of spending the money, I don't see why not. Why shouldn't
Spurs, like with Arsenal dillying and dallying on this deal, I don't know what the hold-up is from the Arsenal side. Spurs should go in heavy right at this moment in time for Eze and say, look, you're our guy. You are the guy that we really want. Make him feel loved. Make him feel really wanted. And you never know what can happen from that. Can you imagine we end up this window with Eze in the 10, Savinho out on the left or the right, Kudus? Like, what a regeneration of our front line that is. Unbelievable. And all of a sudden, the number 9 becomes the weakest kind of link in our team. As well as that, we're getting a 6 in Paulinho. Like, we are talking about an unbelievable transfer window if all that happens.
Yeah, and obviously there's still maybe looking at a centre-back and that as well, and potentially other players who are surplus to requirements. You need to get Basuma out the door, maybe Richarlison. So those are the players as well you have to shift. But if we can get all that business done, it could still be a phenomenal window. I understand a lot of fans are frustrated, us included, with how the month has gone since Gibbs White deal fell through. Obviously, we got Paulinho through the door, and we were mentioning yesterday. You're looking at our front line, and you're looking at that currently, and you're looking at that compared to our competitors. It's well, sure, but you add Eze into that, you add Savinho into that, and also I do think Richarlison and and if he was to stay, or a new number 9, and Solanke especially, they're going to be massive beneficiaries to the signings of Savinho and if Eze was to come. I think you might see a much better version of those players. They're going to get a lot better service and a lot more service.
Bloody cross the ball, man. Savinho, his crossing is top notch. And we're talking about Pedro Porro being the only one that can cross in this team. Well, adding Savinho on that massively improves our ability to be able to cross it to the players like Richarlison and Solanke, who are both really good in the air.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm confident, as much as we'll be talking about the number 9 being the weakest option, they can still score goals. They might be the weakest, but it's not like if you can keep Richarlison fit and you got him and Solanke, and that's not something I'm particularly worried about. I think there are 2 good strikers there. Sometimes you don't even need the best players in number 9. You just need players who can put the ball in the net.
There is something to say, though. We were speaking about this before, about are these signings, though, going to be able to bridge the gap of the goal contributions that we are missing, though? 67 goal contributions that we keep saying about Son, Maddison, Kulusevski last season. Can Savinho and Eze help us get to that? Can they get to those numbers and more?
I would say still that would be a struggle, but on the flip side, do they have to hit that number if we're getting better defensively? Maybe there'll be a drop-off, but if you kind of balance that out by a much more robust defence, then all of a sudden every goal means more. Whereas last season, defensively, for one reason or another, we were all over the place. And although we scored a lot of goals, we conceded a hell of a lot. So each goal that we scored didn't mean as much as they had 67 goal contributions. But this season, if we, as Bergvall was saying in pre-season, the focus on pre-season has been about mentality and clean sheets, he said, and set pieces, and defensive shape. So if that's the focus, and we're going to see that put into action during the season, we're going to be seeing a lot more clean sheets and on that, then they might not have to get 67 for it to be a massive improvement.
True. So that's the Savinho and Eze situation. There's just been some breaking news from Tottenham Hotspur as well, as they announced that we are delighted to announce that Mikey Moore has signed a new long-term contract with the club. The attacking midfielder, who turns 18 today, is currently on loan at Rangers. So congratulations and good luck for the season, Mikey Moore. And yeah, that's the news that we've been waiting for since he did sign for Rangers. We heard that they were in contract discussions, and now on his 18th birthday, they've announced a new contract for Mikey Moore.
Yeah, phenomenal news. And it was a bit of a weird situation with his Rangers loan. Apparently, he wasn't able to make his debut until he turned 18, which I don't know if the club knew about that or not when they sent him on loan. But hopefully now he turned 18 and he signed this new deal. He'll be able to make his debut, which is great news for him. I'm really excited to see how he gets on. Very excited to see him getting regular game time. I do find it interesting they didn't announce exactly how long it is. They just said long term, so we can only speculate.
Contract for life, mate.
What do we reckon? 6-7 years, Chelsea-esque. 9 years.
I reckon about 5-6 years.
5-6 years. So that'll be another player next season. Hopefully, if he has a stellar season at Rangers, another player to add to that winger list.
Yeah, absolutely. So very much looking forward to the future of Mikey Moore. Happy birthday to Mikey and congratulations on your new contract. But that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know your thoughts on Savinho in the comments section below. Do you think Spurs are going to get this over the line? Looking forward to hearing all your opinions. Next up, we have the squad for the Super Cup, 22-man squad that has been announced this morning. And there are some inclusions in there, which I think you guys are going to be very happy about. No, it's not Savinho. Goalkeepers are Vicario Kinski and Brandon Austin. Defenders are Porro, Spence, Romero, Van der Ven, Danso, Destiny Udogi and Ben Davis. So no Kota Takai and no Luka Vuskovic, but Destiny Udogi is back and has been announced in the squad. The midfielders are João Palhinha, Yves Bissouma, Archie Gray, Rodrigo Bentancur, Lucas Bergvall and Pape Matar Sarr. And attackers are Kudus, Johnson, Wilson Odobert, Matisse Tell, Richarlison and Dominic Solanke has been added as well. So very positive that Destiny Udogi and Dominic Solanke have both been added to the squad.
Yeah, which is really encouraging. I I hope that means they're going to be available for Wednesday. I don't think it guarantees it. It just definitely means that their injuries aren't long term, and whether either they're fit or close to fitness for Wednesday, which is great news, because I was really worried about Udogie because we hadn't really heard any great updates from him about it. We heard Frank saying he's not worried, but then he said we're going to find out in a couple of days, and it was a knee injury. We know he picked up a knee injury last summer, so I was kind of worried about that situation, but it sounds like it's not too serious. And we also know that we're struggling for depth in that position. I know Spence can fill in there at the moment, but we need him to fill in for as well. Porro, putting way too much pressure on Porro at the moment. He seems to be playing every single game at right back, and he has done for a while. So Udogie being back fit again, if he is great news. Solanke as well. Only hasn't had much of a pre-season, unfortunately. Only played against Reading. I think, again, last season was a difficult one for him and the team, but I still think this guy is definitely capable of getting a lot of goals for us. And the quicker he comes back, the better it is going to be for the team. I think he's going to be really good under Frank. I think Frank's going to love him. And for Charlton, hasn't definitely needs the help. We definitely know he's injury prone, and we definitely need Solanke fit and available for sure. And especially against PSG, we need his robustness, his pressing, and that work ethic that he provides. Is going to be vital, I think, for us. So hopefully he's fit as well. Again, another player I was getting worried about, because every time we heard an update, it seemed to be delaying him being back. But it seems as though they're either very close or they're fit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's brilliant. In terms of those midfield options, though, going into this Super Cup, I mean, very defence orientated. I guess that's what we're going to need against PSG, isn't it? We're going to need just very much hard workers that can win the ball. We know as well, João Neves, bloody hell, madness going on outside. But we know with João Neves, he's suspended for this game. So that is a massive miss for them. But in terms of our midfield, we know we're going to need hard workers, players that can track their men consistently and keep winning the ball back in the middle of the park. So in terms of our starting midfield, what do you expect it to be? Do you expect it to be like João Palhinha, Rodrigo Bentancur and Assar? Or
That's what it was against Bayern.
Yeah.
Didn't really work out, did it?
No, it didn't.
So as much as we do need hard work ethic and everyone tracking their men, all that kind of stuff, we also need to have some sort of composure on the ball as well. We can't just be giving it away every time we have it.
I mean, Bentancur's got some sort of composure, but you're saying that Lucas Bergwijn needs to start?
I would probably start him in the 10. I know Sarr's got incredible running power. I would like to start him as well, but maybe Palhinha misses out. I don't know. He didn't quite look up to it. Maybe it's a bit too soon for him potentially. I'll think about Bentancur, Sarr and Bergwijn, but does that have enough in it? Is that enough robustness? It's a difficult look. He's got a difficult decision on his hands. I don't think there's a perfect midfield pair where if he plays this, we win the game. I think whoever he plays, it's going to be difficult. Whoever we can play, even if we had all our Decky and Maddison fit as well, and we were at our fully best, we probably still lose.
Three at the back.
He could do. He could easily go three at the back and try and do that. Chelsea kind of had a hybrid three at the back kind of system when they played them in the Club World Cup. So I definitely think that's something to consider as well. I think that's something. It's not something we've seen in pre-season, so I don't know if the Super Cup's the best time to try it first time. But sometimes that's what Frank's known for: springing surprises, being tactically flexible, and I think we know it's probably something he has been working on in training. I don't think he's going to do it without having worked on it at all. So, I would consider it.
Yeah, I think it's the best course of action, to be honest. Like Danso, Van der Ven, Romero as a back three. That is a strong back three, aggressive back three as well. So I think it's something that will help us contain them even more, because we're talking about PSG, who are probably the best team in Europe at this moment in time. And not only the best team, but just ferocious on the ball and ferocious in attack. Like, it's a scary proposition going to face them on Wednesday next week.
But they're beatable.
In a few days.
Shown by Chelsea. I know Chelsea are a different level to us, but they beat them, and they beat them surprisingly easily.
Yeah.
Which was a shock to everyone. And even in that Club World Cup, you would have said leading into that game, PSG were playing better than Chelsea.
You all said that PSG were going to wipe the floor with them.
Yeah, and
it was the other way
Chelsea
around.
Came up with a tactical plan to nullify them and just exploit Palmer ruthlessly down there at PSG's left. Maybe you get Kudus in that position. We try and do something similar.
Yeah.
And
we saw the way that they dispatched of Inter Milan so easily though in that Champions League final.
Yeah.
They played a 3 at the back, and we saw how good Inter Milan were throughout that whole Champions League game.
Yeah. So look, it's going to be difficult. But what do you think of the decision to leave Vuskovic at home?
I think there's a loan. I think there's an imminent loan somewhere in there. There's been rumours of Hamburg. There's been rumours of Genoa and some other clubs. We heard from Ali Gold that he was on the list in terms of players that we're willing to loan out. Pretty much everyone on that list has been loaned out now, apart from Luka Vuskovic. So I think there's an imminent loan
Scarlett as well.
Scarlett as well,
left
yeah.
out.
So I think for those two players, I do think maybe not Scarlett, but I think with Vuskovic there is an imminent loan. I'm sure there's a long list of clubs that are willing to take him.
Yeah, so I think, and if Vuskovic is going on loan, which looks like it, yeah, we probably will sign another centre back, I'm guessing, because I guess it just depends on Dragic and what state he's in. If he's like three or more months away, then probably do need one. If he's less than 3 months away, can you get away with it for the next 3 months? But then on top of that, you don't know how long it's going to take him to get back to full fitness as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, we do have
difficult.
Kota Takai there as well.
But he's also injured.
We don't know what the extent of his injury is.
He's got a heel injury, which apparently, is takes a while or something to recover from. So I don't know. I think it's weeks more than months, from what I understand. But it's not like he's going to be back next week.
Yeah. All right, so that is the Super Cup squad. Obviously, the game is coming around thick and fast at this moment in time. Wednesday is the game. Tomorrow, all the pre-match build-up, and then Wednesday morning, both of us fly to Italy. Very much looking forward to it. Football is back, people, and I'm very much looking forward to it this weekend as well, the kickoff of the Premier League. So let's hope we can get this Savinho deal done quickly, and he can be in the squad for the Burnley game.
That'd be lovely. That would be lovely. And all my concerns, because I was honestly getting concerned even for that game without more signings. Because how are we going to break him down? But you get Savinho through the, all of a sudden I'm getting less worried.
You look at like our ability to break down low blocks now if we have Savinho and Kudus on both wings. I mean, both of them. Like, who are they going to double up on? They got to choose one to double up on.
But the problem is, I would say yes, that's 100% true, and it's going to be difficult. But if teams do focus on nullifying the wings and leave space open in the middle, do we have players to exploit that
that's
situation?
Why we need number 10. That's why Eze would be incredible for us. Could you imagine, like, if you have Eze through the middle, Kudus on the right and Savinho on the left, like, what do teams do?
Exactly. Then all of a sudden they're in trouble. But until we get that player, you just kind of we still need that creative passer in the team, which we're severely lacking.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. But that is the Super Cup squad. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Vuskovic does have a loan impending? Are you excited? Udogi and Big Dom Solanke are back in the team. We've got some reactions to bring to you as well. So Man City fans don't seem too happy that they could be potentially losing Savinho. And that the fan reaction of a player leaving or a player potential leaving just shows you as well, like, how good of a player he actually is. So let's go and see how the internet is currently reacting to the Savinho news. So first up, we have some words from Pep Guardiola, and this guy says that the way Pep is analysing Savinho, I just can't see him agreeing to the idea of selling him. I just can't. And can you tell us what Pep was saying here?
So basically, this is just Pep in his press conference talking about what unbelievable ability that Savinho has. And he's just saying he's got incredible quality. He's incredibly smart at understanding tactics and everything. And he said as soon as he just basically becomes a decisive player in that final third and starts scoring more goals and even getting some more assists, he's going to be like a world-class player, essentially. And that's what he was saying. So he was basically talking with a lot of excitement about Savinho in this press conference, not even long ago. This is
Bring him to me, man. Bring him. Pulpy, who's a Man City fan, says, should we sell Savinho? Absolutely not. There's an obvious talent there. He's 21. We should never do business with anyone whose contempt for the way we run our club has been made so public. Fuck Spurs and Levy. I'm also not entering the bullshit that Savinho is better than Foden. You fucks have some seriously short memories, and it makes me sick. And all last season, all anyone ever did was complain about how poor he was and we need to be better. And the moment he is wanted elsewhere, he's now prime Neymar. Work out what kind of fan you are and own it.
He's just not happy at anything, is he, that guy? But yeah, look, I think Levy's little kind of jibes at City in the Neville interview there, not fans not being totally happy with that. But yeah, but it's interesting him talking about the obvious talent of Savinho, which I think everyone can see.
Yeah, absolutely. Stephen McKinney says, very much aware Savinho isn't a finished product, but he's very obviously highly talented. We forget Mahrez was knocking about in the lower tiers of French football at the same age when making the comparisons. Savinho will become a cracking player. I don't think we should be in the business of moving a talent on like that.
Yeah, and a lot of City fans feeling the same about Savinho leaving. In terms of comparisons to Mahrez, I feel they're quite different, although I don't know what Mahrez was like when he was Savinho's age. As Stephen's saying, he wasn't even at Leicester. He was before Leicester time, so he was the lower kind of leagues in France. But I feel like Mahrez wasn't as much of a speed merchant as Savinho is. He was much more technical.
But I think Savinho is very technical as well.
He is very technical, but Mahrez just had that ability to just get a yard and just whip it far corner.
Do you not think Savinho has that as well? Like, when I first saw Savinho playing for Man City, I was like, wow, this guy is just making all the same movements as Mahrez. Like, I drew a lot of comparisons in the way that they play and they move.
I think they're just a bit different. I feel maybe
the same player, obviously.
No, maybe he'll become a bit more like Mahrez once he nails down those elements, like just hitting those corners every time with shoot shots and stuff. Right now, I feel like he's much more of a, take people on, create and get assists and stuff. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I didn't see. I understand the comparisons to Mahrez. I just felt Mahrez, when he came to the Premier League, maybe he went through that development before he came to the Premier League. If you know what I mean. So I didn't see that bit in him. But right now, it's like I haven't seen that Mahrez in him yet.
Mm. BLTHFC saying, same guys who says Brennan is crap for only getting goals is not being able to beat his man are complaining Savinho doesn't score enough.
Some fans you'll never satisfy.
Yeah. World of Hotspur says, for people wondering why we're going for yet another right winger when the primary needs a left wing and Cam, and how we arrived at Savinho, he's making less than Oscar Bob and Stefan Ortega at City. Levy can double his wages and still be well below his self-enforced salary cap. So it's quite bad that he's only on 40 grand a week when you think about the wages that Man City do give out. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about like, why are we going for another right winger? But I think he's just as comfortable on the left, and I don't see it as we're signing another right winger. I see it as we're signing an option that can play anywhere.
Yeah, I would say so. I think, as I say, I do think his future is going to be on the right. I think right now he could easily play on the left, no problem. He can play both, I think. So I wouldn't say we're signing a right winger. We're signing a winger who can play both. That's
yeah, but we're signing as well a player where throughout the course of his career so far, his best work has come down the left.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I say, I think he will become a right winger. That's just my opinion. But in terms of the wages, I don't care. Like, I really don't care what his wages are. I care how good he is.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Why does it matter if that he's on 40 grand a week? If he's a great player and we're able to get him, why is it something to complain about? Like, would it be better if he was on 80 grand and we had to double that? Would that be more? Would that mean it's a better signing? You know what I mean? Does make sense.
And also, like, if we do go and double his wages, and that's what we're going to do, 80 grand a week, right? That as well. Like, if he performs for us really well, that gives us scope to keep like giving him new contracts as well.
Exactly. So,
We Are Tottenham TV tweeted. Just showing us the stats. This is Brennan Johnson against Savinho from last season. That is quite quite a difference, isn't it?
Yeah, Jesus, he's like gobbling up his metrics there. So it's quite noticeable gap. This, just to be clear though, is like the winger metric on FBref. So when it comes to like goals scored, that is something that is not on that one for some reason. There is like expected goals and stuff, but no goals. But in terms of like all the metrics you expect a winger to be strong at, I mean, Savinho, not only is Savinho crushing Brennan, he's actually near the top of everything, which is crazy to look at. So it's more of a how good is Savio rather than how bad Brennan is, but it's also quite something to compare to Brennan, because Brennan, we know he's there, as a goal scorer, but look how badly he performs in so many metrics. It's crazy.
If we do bring in Savinho, I do worry for Brennan a little bit about where he's going to fit in next season.
Yeah.
Real Talk Manchester City tweeted out, "Can't stress this enough. We will regret selling Savinho. He's a world-class winger in the making. With more experience, he'll reach incredible heights. I'm livid."
Oh, I love it. Some City tears.
Your loss is our gain, hopefully.
Drinking some City tears. Fantastic. But as you say, I really do think it's very telling fan reaction if they are really upset like this. I think fans usually in these cases, you can tell what kind of play you're getting when you see this kind of reaction.
Yeah, I mean, look at the reaction for this compared to the reaction of Grealish going to Everton today.
Yeah, exactly. They're not bothered about that.
No, not bothered at all. Umir Irfan says, "Savinho is brilliant and was our best winger pre-Marmoush last season. Linked well with Haaland often too. Raw-ish and can progress to being one of the best from out wide, but City need win-now output players. Mahrez mentioned it recently. City used to have multiple 10-goal-a-season players, De Bruyne, Sterling, Mahrez, Gundogan, all now phased out. Last season it was Haaland only. Kovacic scored well. Foden should have, but was injured and out of form. Rodri has goals, but he was out. Although his goals come from the same pool as Kovacic, the wingers didn't contribute much. Kevin De Bruyne didn't play as often either. Reinders has goals, good. You need a winger with reliable output too. Foden has goals if he finds his form. Bob is brilliant and can take Savinho's minutes if he stays fit. I understand the rationale in signing a win-now winger capable of goals and assists, reliably moving Savinho on for big money and loaning out Grealish, being a big Rodrigo fan for the longest time." He's got a good point there, because obviously Savinho didn't bring the goal contributions, or definitely goals that maybe you need in the title race. But with another year, with another year of development behind him in the Premier League, I think he can add to those numbers. I mean, it was only one Premier League goal last season. That is a poor return, let's be real, particularly in the Man City side. So I do think with another year development behind him, you can just see what a calibre of player he is and what a calibre of player he can turn out to be. So I think those numbers will dramatically improve next season, whether it be at City or another club. But look, the goals are different at Tottenham and at Man City. So if you improve on that in a Tottenham side going for, like, the dream is top 4, but I don't think we're going to get top 4, top 5, top 6. I think that's fine. But in a title challenging side, you need to be getting a lot more.
Of course, but, City, usually they're quite patient with winger signings. Look at Sterling's first year at City. He was terrible. He wasn't good at all. He didn't score many goals. And then obviously... Well, even in his second year wasn't great, and it only took when I think it was Pep's second year he started scoring regularly. Like sometimes even Grealish his first year wasn't good, and then his second season was really good, and they won the treble. Like sometimes it takes time. This kid is 20 years of age. To ask him to come to the Premier League and start smashing it out immediately is a tough ask. And I think even in the circumstances, he did quite well. Like I thought every game he was impressive. Very few games I watched him and I thought he's having a bad game here. Yes, there were some games where he did have quite a few chances and he missed some sitters, and he'll probably be looking back and kicking himself at some of the chances he missed. I don't disagree, but this is a 20-year-old winger, in his first season in the Prem. It's obviously going to be difficult for him to fully, be at his best. What player is at their best anyway at that age? Very few. I know you get the odd ones like your Marlon and stuff who are just freaks, but some players, they need to be, wait till you're 23, 24 till you're at your peak. So I do think it's just harsh, but I also understand what he's saying. City right now, as I've said, they've got Bob, they've got Doku, they've got players in a similar phase to him. So if they can get big money for him, is it worth the risk to sell him for big money? Yes, he's going to turn out to be a good player maybe in a year or two, but you sell him for big money, and the risk is he would turn out to be immediately, but you buy a Rodrigo who you know is going to be amazing right now? Or do you keep him and hope he turns good immediately and not get a Rodrigo in when you're looking to win the league? If you're ruthless like City in a big club and money, you know you can get a player like Rodrigo, I guess that makes sense. I think if Tottenham were in that position, I don't think we let Savinho go, and I think we hang on to him because we know we're not capable of getting someone like Rodrigo in, and we've got to put our eggs in that basket. But I think City in a different game to us.
Yeah, and also because like they didn't win the league last season and got quite far off it. You know, they had a dreadful season last year by their standards. And they know everyone around them has massively improved. Liverpool, look at the business that they've done. Arsenal, they've brought in Gyökeres. They've brought in some really good players in Zubimendi and whatever. Chelsea are looking like a serious outfit this year. So the league is going to be, to win, is going to be harder than ever next season. So they probably can't wait around for players to develop for next season. They need players to come in and just do it straight away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the only frustration, as City fans are pointing out, he's had that development year. So like now would be the year to like, you know, hopefully he can kick on and start really producing. Maybe, I'm not in training obviously, so maybe he's still lacking that little, which is what Pep was kind of indicating in his interview. He's still quite not there
When
yet.
was that interview from Pep?
I think it was this summer.
Okay.
So maybe...
What, Club World Cup?
I don't know when it was exactly. I think it was one of the pre-season games. So maybe there's a feeling like he's nearly there, but he's not quite there. But it is harsh to then decide to sell him off the back of that. But, you know, City, as you say, they're here to win trophies, not here to do anything else. And if they feel like, even if he is going to be a great player, if they can get big money for him and get someone who's definitely going to do it now, then it's worth doing, I guess.
Stephen McKinney, again, he said, had a few hours sleep and still can't fathom the idea of letting Savinho go. Feels very, very short-sighted.
It is short-sighted. It is literally short-sighted.
Yeah, but Man City...
That's short-sighted.
Man City are a short-sighted club.
Exactly.
They go for the league every season.
They're not here to develop over a 5-year project like Arteta. They're here to... The project is we win the league next season. That's the project.
Yeah.
So...
Well, the project is we win everything that we play in.
Exactly as I'm saying. We win. Yeah, that's it. So, you know, I don't know who he thinks he supports. Yeah, it's short-sighted because everything is short-sighted.
Yeah.
Like, it's now.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's now with a view of sustainable now. Like, you want it to be able to carry on over years and years. Like, you know, they won 4 titles out of 5. So it's not like now in a sense of Mourinho and Conte now, if you know what I mean. Where it's like, we win now and then it all blows up. But it is like, we want it to be sustainable, but we also need to be winning the league immediately.
Amos Murphy says, I'll be honest, I wouldn't be letting Savinho leave if I was Pep and Hugo Viana. He looks great at times in a dysfunctional City team last year. At least give him one more season and see how things might work out. Unless Spurs serve up a mind-blowing bid, it's a no from me. And that's also a good point. Like, Man City were shocking last season, very dysfunctional, and if he is playing in a functional Man City team, those goal numbers and goal contributions now will probably go out dramatically.
Agreed. Yeah, that's another good point. Doing that in a team that was struggling and standing out, I think, especially early on. I remember watching his debut. I think they played Chelsea on the opening day for them. They won 2-0, and he was running the show. He was brilliant, but unfortunately, he got injured on that game. Maybe set him back a bit. But he was... You know, he was performing for a City team that were really, really struggling, and he wasn't the only one. So, you know, to say to put that burden on him is harsh. But yeah, I agree. I think for me, for a first season, for his age, I thought he was really good.
Yeah,
I thought it was really good.
I agree. Ryan, we are Man City, says, Man City, do not sell Savinho. And he's done a video. I'm not sure if this is his video or...
I think it is, but it's
someone else's that he's taken.
Maybe not.
But yeah, it's nearly 4-minute video, so we're not going to go through it now. But it's just him, just basically going mad at Man City, saying, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah, go watch it.
Neo THFC has an exclusive. I'm not sure who Neo THFC is, but he says Savinho is close to joining Tottenham. The clubs are just waiting Mr. Marinakis' permission to go through with the deal. Oh, God, it's a deal off then.
A deal 100% off. We're going to get a Savinho to Forest. Here we go.
Will Hester says Savinho, Kudus, wing pairing. And that is how we're all going to be feeling watching Ange eat his steak.
Exactly.
Boom.
Perfect. Perfection.
I do think, though, like, these two wingers, Ange would have loved to have managed those two.
He must be a bit brewing at the moment, Ange. He's been sacked and we're finally getting wingers that are just like perfect for him.
Yeah.
That's how it goes sometimes.
But it's like that because, like, Ange's first season, you know, the year after we sacked Conte, we had Van der Ven and Romero pairing. We had Destiny and Porro wing backs, and like we had a defence that Conte would have absolutely loved at Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like Longley and all these kind of guys, you know what I mean? And now, so we built like a good team for Conte under Ange, and now we're probably building a really good team for Ange under Frank.
Yeah, I know. Classic.
It's just
Tottenham.
classic Spurs.
Classic Spurs.
This is again Data MB Johnson versus Savinho. A bit of a different graph for you guys, but yeah, the one place where Brennan really outperforms Savinho is obviously the non-penalty goals,
which is not insignificant.
Yeah.
Bit similar to Kudus, he's like the anti-Brennan essentially, quite literally. He's like great at everything that Brennan's not, and Brennan's good at the one thing that he isn't.
Yeah. But again, some more stats from Data MB. These are Savinho's numbers from 23-24. I think this is when he was at Girona. Look at these numbers. So this first one shows for dribbles, he was top of the list in Europe's top 5 leagues, which is
for under 20s.
Under 20s, yeah. But still, you've got some good players there.
No, Yamal, Garnacho,
Doué,
yeah.
Ryan Cherky there as well, Odebear. The next one is for crosses, and this is under 24s in Europe's top 5 leagues, where he was top over Rafael Leao, Saka, Deki, Kudus. For fouls suffered, he was second as well. And this is under 20s in Europe's top 5 leagues, just under Jude Bellingham. And then key passes under 20s, he was top as well, over Lamine Yamal.
It's crazy potential.
16-year-old Lamine Yamal, but still.
It's just crazy potential he has. I really think he's a phenomenal talent. Like in terms of winger potential, he's up there with one of the most exciting young wingers. I really do, and I really believe that. So I'm just amazed that he's coming to us. I'm just amazed.
Let's get the here we go first. Let's get
amazed
the here we go.
Even in that we were close to it. I really am. I thought if he was going to leave City, he would do what like Alvarez did and go to like an Atletico or something. But maybe, that Frank Paul.
Yeah.
That Frank Paul,
exactly. But that is how the internet has reacted to Spurs potentially getting Savinho off Manchester City. Obviously, there's still a lot more moving parts to go in this deal. We need it to move along significantly now. And I guess the next step is to get the here we go. Let's hope we do. And we even know after a here we go, it's still not signed, sealed and delivered until we see him wearing a Spurs shirt.
Do you think it's a case, and you're looking at some of the other top 6 teams who apparently we've stolen a march on in this deal, do any of them not need him, or do you think Man City are more willing to sell to us than these other teams? They see us as less of a threat?
Yeah, I think there's definitely an element to that. I think that... Who have we stolen the march on? So
just whoever's, I don't know, you would have thought some of the top clubs would have been in for him if he's available.
When you're looking at the other top 4 clubs in...
Like Liverpool, back up to Salah maybe, I guess, but he's back up.
When you're looking at Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, they all have been looking for wingers this summer. Mm-hmm. I think that Chelsea would definitely prefer him over Garnacho, in my opinion. Arsenal would have preferred him over Madueke. And Liverpool, they're still looking for a winger, so I think they would definitely take him as well. But the difference is, I think at Spurs he'll be like one of the best players at the club, and one of the key stars at the team, where I think at the other clubs he'll be a kind of just another player kind of thing. And
also maybe City don't really want to be strengthening a rival. I think as well didn't they say after they sold Jesus and Zinchenko to Arsenal, they don't want to be doing that again because they really propelled them into a title race.
Yeah.
And they kind of, I don't know if, off the top of my head, I can't remember if they've done that since, sold to a rival.
Nah, they sold Sterling to Chelsea, but I don't think they consider him as a rival then.
Yeah, it's true, because I think they were like mid-table at that point. So, I think from that point of view, I think. Well, actually, it wasn't. That might have been in the same summer. They sold Zinchenko and Jesus. Maybe. I think it might have been the same summer. So I think that's also maybe an element to it. Maybe the fact that we did so badly last season is that
you
contributed.
Just wait, Man City. You just wait, Man City. Spurs are coming. Spurs are coming. But
maybe Angel's playing 4D chess 17 so we can get Savinho.
Yeah, but I think that's it for today. Obviously, if anything else does come through, we'll be here to bring it to you first on We Are Tottenham TV. Savinho deal on. Hopefully, we get some more news about a 10 Eberechi Eze, or the other name thrown into the hat is Bilal El Khanous of Leicester. In terms of those two players, though, profile-wise, don't you think Bilal is a better fit for us than Eze in terms of profile fits?
Profile, because you're thinking Bilal's a better passer than Eze. I think they're quite similar. They're both quite decent ball carriers. Like, I think Bilal's...
His passing is incredible.
Is it better than Eze? Eze is a good passer.
No, I think it is better than Eze's passing.
You think so?
Yeah. I think Bilal can literally thread the ball through an eye of a needle, left foot, right foot. I think he's got it.
You think he's that good?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I haven't seen anything to suggest he's much better passing than Eze. Well, I mean, maybe I haven't seen enough of him, but that might be the case. But I think Eze is a pretty good passer.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong here. I prefer us to sign Eberechi Eze. Don't like get this twisted that I would prefer to sign Bilal than Eze. But I just feel like Bilal is the better passer.
That might be true, but I think Eze, first of all, is a very good passer, and secondly, I think the fact that he can play off the left as well as the number 10 helps. I think that gives us another dimension as well to allow him to do that. And I think, I think profile-wise, I have to look more into El Khanous. I didn't realise, like, when you say passer, is he like a Maddison kind of passer, or is he what kind of passer is he? Is he a guy who has like real vision, or like is he just like little through balls? Like, because Gibbs White is a good passer, but he's not like a Maddison kind of passer who has like vision everywhere. He's kind of like gets the ball in space and plays a through ball straight.
I think Bilal's like a visionary passer.
Like a visionary passer, like he can set the pace of a game. He gets the ball and kind of
very creative passer.
Interesting. Okay.
In my opinion, anyway. But look. That is it from us today. We'll be back, obviously, when any news breaks. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.